This presentation will give you suggestions on using your iPad in the classroom, and it's very helpful for a one iPad classroom. So you'll get some strategies on how to use your iPad for instructional use. Please go to the presentation listed below. For this Google presentation, you will have the opportunity to save a copy of this. Also, your teacher librarian, Marty Harris, has a copy of this linked onto your website as well. I would highly recommend that you go and get this link because there are some videos and some additional resources that you won't be able to see in this presentation, but you can go back and look at later on. So the goal of this presentation is just to teach you about some apps and tech tools that help you create engaging, tech-rich lesson plans in a one iPad or device classroom. So getting a lot out of having limited technology in your classroom. And then you'll also learn how to use some tech tools to engage students and help them think critically, communicate, collaborate, and be creative. The first thing I wanted to tell you about, I won't be able to show you an example of this, but I want to make you aware of this item that is available, and it's called Air Server. And what this does is this projects what you're doing on your iPad on the big screen in front of your whole class. So it allows you to control what's happening in your classroom from anywhere in the classroom. It's very helpful if you want to sit in the back of the room with a group of students that need additional help, or if you just need that movement across the room. This video, when you go to the presentation, gives you a great overview of how this works and how to get it set up in your classroom. Air Server is something that you need to pay for. It's a subscription, so you'll need to purchase it each year, and I believe it is less than $15. So if you have an iPad and you want to have that ability to connect to your desktop or a laptop, this is a great option for you as it allows you to move around the classroom and be more engaged. Some other mirroring apps, these are also paid apps as well. A popular one is Splashtop, and this allows you to teach from anywhere in your classroom as well, and it allows you to control your desktop from your iPad. So not just project onto the screen, but you also can control what's happening on your desktop from your iPad. So this really is helpful as well. And again, there's a link to another demonstration video, and you can see how this works in the classroom. Something that would be very beneficial if you don't have a lot of technology in your class and you want to do a quick formative assessment, I would recommend trying Plickers in your classroom. And it's a very interactive tool that allows students to participate without feeling self-conscious. So each student in your class will have a voice. All you need to do this is you need the app installed onto either your phone or an iPad. You could use a Chrome device too, as long as you have a camera. You'll be able to access this, and it's very time effective. There is some setup that needs to be done initially, but once you have your classroom set up, as you can see in the picture down here, each student gets a card which has a QR code on it. So what you can see, and what I showed your colleagues in the presentation that I gave a few weeks ago, is it depends on how the students turn the card. So up here you may have A. If you turn it this way, it'll be B, C, and D. And so when a question is asked, they turn their card to correspond with the answer. So it's very anonymous. Other students can't see what they're choosing, and you'll have each student in your class hold up their card. You want to hold it up as flat as possible, and then the teacher will scan the room with their camera, or I'm sorry, with their phone or with their iPad, and that captures the student responses. It's a very cool device, and it allows you to see where students are at in your classroom without them actually having access to technology. This video again gives a really good example of what it looks like, and then also too you'll be able to see a screen view of what the data looks like on your screen, which you can show to the whole class or you can just use for your own personal knowledge. When you go into Plickers, what you need to do, for this example, I just have generic codes entered in, but you would want to enter each of your students in that class's name into the roster, and then that will correspond with the card. What I would recommend would be to print out a set of cards for each class, and you could either keep them in the class or you could have each student keep it in a binder or somewhere where they could have it with them every class, but that number and that card will stay with them. So you'll want that student to use the same card over and over again so it corresponds with your data in the Plickers website. So with Plickers, you have two different options for what kind of questions you want to create. You can either do multiple choice questions or you can do true-false questions. So it is limited to that, and typically the easiest way to get the data would be through the A, B, C, D multiple choice question. Some other options for formative assessment. One of my favorites is Socrative, and this is either you can go to the website or you can access this through your phone. There is a teacher login and then there is a student login. So two different choices there on how you do this. And for these questions, you have a little bit more of options as far as the format of questions. You can do multiple choice, true, false, or you can do a short answer. So for the demonstration I did for your staff, I had them go to Socrative.com and then enter in as a student. And as a teacher, you'll go in and you'll create your quiz questions, and you will be provided with this, some sort of course code. This was specific to the class that I developed, but when you develop a class, you'll get a code as well. And that is all that a student needs to enter into your quiz or your room. So very helpful. I usually would write this on the board and have students just enter into the room code as they enter class. When I use this in my classroom, I had students use their cell phones, and I used it as mainly for formative assessment, but also as exit tickets or just a check-in as they entered class to see how much knowledge they retained from the class period before. So that would help me gauge what they knew and then where I would need to step in and kind of adjust my instruction to make sure that I was meeting their needs. Once students enter the class, then they would just go in and answer the questions, and then I would have the data available to me at that point. So this next part of the presentation, I just want to review or go over a few apps for you to try that you may want to download onto your iPad and just look at and see what you can do. This Screen Chomp is a really basic version of what I'm doing right now. So it's a screencasting software program, and it's very interactive and fun, and it's really great for student presentations. Also, it's more of a video where it's interactive on a screen as well, so teachers can make and share videos to share with students. This would be very helpful if there was something that you wanted them to have at home, maybe for a math problem, going through the process of how to solve for a problem. Then the students could easily access that when they were at home. And then also too, you can quickly sketch ideas and narrate them and send them to other students as well. And students can share their screen chomps with each other as well. So if they wanted to help each other out with homework, this would be a good option for them to try. There is a tutorial linked from the presentation, and it'll give you more information on how you could use this presentation in your class. One of my favorite tools, and this is a really fun game structured type tool, so if you've ever used Kahoots, this is very similar to that. It's called Quizzes, and it's similar to Socrative, where you'll go in as a teacher and you'll put your quiz together. What I like about Quizzes is there are hundreds of quizzes already pre-made and available for you to use from their website. And what you do is you go in and you can either add your own questions or you can select from the bank, and students will complete the quiz. So they can come up with a name that's either unique to them or something fun, and then they get an avatar that they will be identified as. And then students can go on and answer questions. And it just gives them a more fun way to kind of interact and see where their learning's at. It's fun for them, and it gives you the data you need to determine what students are learning or what they understand in your class. So quickly, a few other things I wanted to mention to you, and there are links to all of these on the presentation. If you're looking for ideas for integrating technology, Common Sense Media has a section of their website called Graphite, and there are thousands of reviews for different apps and games and educational websites that you could use. And what I like about this is they have suggestions on how you can apply that, or they have actual lesson plans. So you not only learn about an app, you can see how it's applied in classrooms, which is very helpful if you're just not really sure how you would use that. And the tech-rich lesson plan ideas are for multiple content areas. And so they'll work through some standards and show you how you can use different apps and different web tools to enhance that instruction and to make it more fun. PBS Learning Media has some excellent resources for educational videos and then also career connections as well. And there are also some other links here too to Common Sense Media, which gives a lot of suggestions for new apps and coding tools and student collaboration tools that you could use in your classroom. A lot of times I felt like I would hear about a really cool app that I wanted to try to use in my classroom, but when I went and started using it, it felt like it was more for elementary. And so this was really helpful to me to find a place where I could go and I could say, I'm looking for things that work well with grades 9 through 12. So I didn't have to look through all of these different apps. I had things that were really just directly geared towards high school students. I would encourage you to go through the presentation and look through the videos that I've provided on there and the links as well, because that is a bulk of really the teaching and understanding on how to use these specific apps. But I would just encourage you to really kind of look at what areas in your classes that you teach could benefit from technology or could increase collaboration if you use more technology. And if you ever have any questions, please contact me. My email is up here. I would love to come out and work with groups at your school and to help you learn specific things that could help meet your needs. Thanks.